Hey friends, I just had a realization. I think I've been using audiobooks the wrong way my entire life. Now, I'm curious to see if you've been doing the same thing, and also I'm curious about this school bus that's been parked outside my office for months. It's kind of creepy, especially when I'm working here at night and it's just sitting there staring at me. Anyway, I realized that an audiobook is a tool, and like most tools, there's a right way to use it and a wrong way to use it. Let's jump in and see how you're applying these things. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Read Well podcast. My name is Eddie Hood, and today we're talking about audiobooks and how to listen to them. This isn't the only way to listen to an audiobook, but it's really helping me, and I hope that it helps you. I went on a walk today, and I had the audiobook playing in my ear, and I realized something. I've been using them incorrectly, because when I listen to an audiobook, I'm usually doing so for entertainment purposes. So that's where I put on lots of lighthearted fiction, because I can commute with it, I can cook dinner with it, and it's okay if I miss some of the information because I can usually pick up on the storyline. Now, I also listen to audiobooks for education. I'll go there for nonfiction occasionally. But the problem is, I'll listen to that audiobook the same way I listen to entertainment-based books, so that once it's done playing, I check it off my to-be-read list, and it gets filed away mentally, and then nothing else comes of it. That's not what I should be doing. So here's what I'm doing wrong, and hopefully this will help you. While we're talking about how to use audiobooks to better educate ourselves, I want to share with you my favorite comment from this week's YouTube video. Rebecca Henry 7941 says, "I've just discovered you and am enjoying learning from you!" Exclamation point. Thank you, Rebecca. She goes on to say, "Your advice on reading slowly and taking notes has also helped me in going back to college at almost 50! Exclamation point. I'm a psych major, and you've mentioned your love of philosophy and psychology, so I think I'm in the right place. Cheers." Rebecca, you're absolutely in the right place, and I'm so excited and happy for you. This is why we're here, no matter where we're at in life, to realize that we have so much to learn. And the fact that she has allowed herself to be vulnerable and follow the passion that she has, even at 50 years old, is just inspiring to me. So thank you, Rebecca. And for all of you watching, please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about your own education and how you're going to further it. When I read a book, a nonfiction book, take, for example, Sarah Bakewell's The Existentialist Cafe, which, spoiler alert, this is my book recommendation for the week. We'll get into that in just a minute. Let's say you wanted to read this book and you thought, I really want to learn about the existentialist philosophers, which is a great idea. You got Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, Albert Camus. It's a really fun read. But what if you've never heard of them before? What if you don't know anything about their philosophies? And what if you're brand new to philosophy? Well, the first time you open this book and begin to read, it's going to be just like going on a hike to a new location for the first time ever. You're not going to know where the difficult parts are. You're not going to know when the trail bends or turns. You're not going to really be aware of the mountain lion on the trail. Hopefully there are no mountain lions, but you get the point, right? There could be difficult times ahead. There could be some beautiful times ahead. But because it's your first time on the trail, you're inexperienced. So often I'll read a nonfiction book, and at the end of that, I'll think to myself, should I read that again? And if I really want to take notes on this book, then I will usually read it again. Or at the very minimum, I will go through with my pen and my highlighters, and I'll do my full note-taking system, which I've taught in other videos. So here's where the audiobook comes into play. I realized that I can listen to a book passively in the background while I'm cooking dinner, while I'm commuting, and have it be a nonfiction educational book, and it will show me the bends in the road. It will show me the difficult parts ahead. It will be like a scout, right? If you ever wanted to go to Mount Everest and climb that thing, I've never done it, but I would assume you're going to want somebody who's been there before, who's scouted the thing, and can lead you successfully, the Sherpas or whatever they're called. Your audio book can be that Sherpa. It can walk you through the challenging parts. And as you're listening, your brain's going to go, oh, that's interesting. That's a really cool thing. I just learned about Simone de Beauvoir or Albert Camus. I think I want to learn more about that. And your brain will sort of file that away as you're flipping pancakes for your kids, right? And you'll start to really get a sense of the structure of this book. Now, at the end of the audiobook, you're going to have a decision to make. You're going to think to yourself, okay, Eddie, should I really dig in and learn from this book now? Yes, I have listened to it once. I have gone the scouted path. Is it now worth my time to make notes out of this thing, to really, really dig in? And if you can say yes to that, that means you're signing up for a little bit of work to do. You're now going to go buy the paper book. I know, you're going to have 2 copies, a digital and a paper book, which I think is great because you're supporting local bookstores and you're supporting great authors like Sarah Bakewell. She is really great, by the way. And here's what's going to happen. As you sit down and you read your paper book, you're going to see those bends in the road coming. You're going to see the mountain lion coming, and you're going to go, I know this part. This is the part that I really thought was great on the audiobook. You're going to pull out your pens, right, from your notebooks, and you're going to be armed and ready to go. And as that part comes up, you're going to start taking notes furiously, and you're going to learn because you're prepared for the information at hand. And so this is what an audiobook can do for us, you guys. It's not just an easy way to read. It's actually a tool in our box. I think where I've gone wrong in the past with audiobooks is I've seen them as a way to read more books quickly. But because I've shied away from that in my own reading style and I've started to read slower, to take notes and to apply the ideas, I no longer see an audiobook as a path to reading 50 or 100 books a year, because sure, I can always have them playing in the background, like robotically. That just hasn't done me a whole lot of good. Instead, now I'm finding that they are a path to deciding which books I really want to study. So yeah, I went out and bought the audiobook of Sarah Bakewell's At the Existentialist Cafe. And it is beautiful, by the way. It is so much fun to listen to. I absolutely loved it. And I am now holding the physical book in my hand going, I want to learn more about Jean-Paul Sartre. I want to learn more about Albert Camus. And there's a lot of good stuff in here. Now I'm going to go through and do my note-taking process. Now, you might not feel the same way about this book because I'm a philosophy student, right? I have gone back at 44 years old to get a degree in philosophy. I'm weird like that. I like to write. I like philosophy. This is a book that rings for my soul. It might not ring for you, but you're not going to know that until you have a Sherpa walk you through the mountain. So try it on audiobook first. Okay, let's talk about this book itself because I always like to give you a book recommendation in each of my videos if I can. And I do want to point out that At the Existentialist Cafe is a book, the subtitle says, on freedom, being, and apricot cocktails. It's really the story of some of the greatest thinkers of the early 20th century. Again, we've got Jean-Paul Sartre, Simone de Beauvoir, Albert Camus. She covers Martin Heidegger and a few other thinkers, and it's a really nice look at not just their thoughts, but also their biographies. She's a phenomenal biographer, and she weaves in some really nice stories with their key ideas. So if let me grab you something else. Look, here's Jean-Paul Sartre's sort of masterpiece, right? It's Being and Nothingness. This is a big book, y'all. I mean, it's huge. And if you thought to yourself, I want to read Sartre, I'm going to go buy this book, which is what I did when I was young and foolish, and I'm just going to start reading it. One, I love the ambition. Good for you. I think it's great. But 2, you're probably going to get lost in this thing. It's like trying to swim in the ocean and having absolutely no life preserver. So having a book like this is really nice because it's fun to read. It's more contemporary in the language, and it's got a lot of nice little stories and anecdotes to keep your brain on topic, on point. And if after reading this and taking the notes, you think, yeah, I agree with Jean-Paul Sartre's main ideas, I think he's fascinating, I want to learn more, then feel free to move into something bigger and more complicated, knowing what you're getting yourself into. So this whole process of reading well is all about getting better at something, right? It's about reading slowly, taking notes, and applying the ideas. Well, what does applying the ideas mean? It means improving in your work, in your life's task, as Robert Greene calls it. And I did a video on that very thing right here. It's a video about Robert Greene's book, Mastery. If you're interested in becoming great at something, check that one out next. And until next week, as always, remember to read slowly, take notes, and apply the ideas. I'll see you guys next time.